You've heard the whispers, you've seen the trending hashtags, and now you're here wondering if it's actually true. Is Stephen Colbert really being cancelled? And if so, why is no one giving you the full story? What began as a flicker of online outrage quickly transformed into a digital wildfire, with Twitter, Reddit, and YouTube all boiling over with speculation, think pieces, hot takes, and furious debates about the future of late-night comedy and whether Colbert's signature sharp wit had finally crossed a line too bold, too political, or too personal for American audiences to tolerate. But behind every viral wave is an origin, one moment, one sentence, or one misunderstood joke that causes the internet to erupt like a volcano, and in Colbert's case, that moment came when a seemingly off-the-cuff joke during a live segment was clipped, shared out of context, and blown into a symbol of what critics call the fragility of modern entertainment. And that's where this story begins, not with a cancellation, but with confusion, context, and controversy colliding in a digital age where perception travels faster than facts. People across the country suddenly questioned whether Colbert had lost his charm, his timing, or worse, his moral compass, while longtime fans fiercely defended him, claiming this was just another example of performative outrage designed to silence anyone who speaks truth through comedy. And as these camps clashed online, news outlets capitalized on the confusion with clickbait headlines, leading millions of Americans to ask themselves if they'd missed something, or if they were being manipulated by a narrative crafted to sell fear. And while Colbert's production team remained eerily silent, rumors swirled about internal network meetings, advertisers hesitating, and executives weighing the balance between artistic freedom and public backlash. Is it even possible in today's America to make political satire without crossing a line? What does that line even look like anymore? These are the real questions at the heart of this firestorm, and if you're still watching, you're already smarter than most, because you're not content with surface-level outrage, you want the deeper truth. And here it is. Stephen Colbert wasn't cancelled because he did something criminal or malicious. He was accused of being too real, too raw, and too honest in an era where scripted smiles and calculated branding have replaced genuine expression. The segment that started it all? A politically charged satire about power, hypocrisy, and systemic issues that most media figures wouldn't dare touch. But Colbert has never played it safe, and in this case, some claimed he went too far. Within hours, small clips were cut, memes were made, and misinformation spread like wildfire, especially among those who never even watched the full show. Suddenly, viewers were divided not by facts but by echo chambers, and Colbert's name became the battlefield for a broader cultural war. But it doesn't stop there. This situation has exposed just how fragile the relationship is between media, audiences, and advertisers. Behind the scenes, sponsors reportedly requested private meetings, wondering if their brands could withstand the heat of association. Network executives huddled over viewer analytics, stress-testing potential PR responses, all while comedians from rival networks watched in silence, knowing that if it could happen to Colbert, it could happen to anyone. It's no longer about Stephen Colbert the person, it's about what he represents: resistance, rebellion, and the rare breed of entertainers who still believe comedy can be a force for truth. But truth has a price. And in today's hypersensitive, reaction-driven world, even the slightest misstep can become career-defining. Colbert, aware of the storm, chose not to respond immediately. That silence only fueled more speculation, with some calling it calculated, others calling it cowardly. Meanwhile, fans dissected his every past statement, looking for signs that this had been brewing for a long time. Old interviews resurfaced. Archived segments went viral. Every frame of his show was suddenly under a microscope, and for those who already disliked him, this was all the justification they needed to pile on. But here's what most people missed. Amid all the chaos, the original segment was never actually removed, never apologized for, and never clarified by Colbert or his team. Why? Because sometimes, silence is not an admission of guilt, it's a refusal to bow to noise. And that's what makes this moment so important. It's not about whether you love or hate Stephen Colbert. It's about whether we, as a society, still believe in the value of provocative thought, uncomfortable laughter, and speaking truth to power. Because if Colbert gets cancelled for doing exactly what made him famous, then what message does that send to the next generation of satirists, artists, and public figures? That the cost of honesty is irrelevance. That authenticity will be punished unless it's packaged and polished to be algorithm-friendly. We're standing at a crossroads right now, and Colbert's situation is the mirror reflecting back our collective anxiety about cancel culture, freedom of speech, and the evolving role of media in shaping public discourse. And make no mistake, the networks are watching. The advertisers are watching. You are being watched not just as a viewer, but as a participant in a massive cultural experiment where every click, every share, every comment helps determine what gets supported and what gets shut down. Colbert's fate may be hanging in the balance, but so is the future of comedy itself. And if you think this is just about one celebrity, think again. This is about the shifting ground beneath all of entertainment. Late-night shows, once sacred spaces for humor and reflection, are now battlegrounds for political correctness and brand-safe messaging. And when someone like Colbert dares to punch up, punch through, the repercussions are immediate and severe. But you have a choice. You can walk away from this video thinking it's just drama, just gossip, just another day in the endless scroll of content. Or you can understand that this moment matters. That it's not just about what Colbert said, it's about who we're becoming as a culture. Are we really listening anymore? Or just reacting? Are we holding public figures accountable for genuine harm, or are we just punishing them for being imperfect humans in a digital world that demands perfection? And most importantly, what happens next? Will Colbert double down, redefine his brand, and rise stronger? Will his network stand by him, or quietly let him fade? Or will this controversy mark the end of an era? The final chapter in a legacy built on bold ideas, brave comedy, and unflinching satire? We don't know yet. But what we do know is this: you're part of this moment now. And if you're still watching, still thinking, still asking questions, then you're doing exactly what this video hoped you would. Because the truth isn't found in headlines. It's found in critical thinking, in context, in resisting the urge to cancel before understanding. Stephen Colbert may be trending today, but the conversation he's ignited is timeless, and it's up to all of us to decide what comes next.